All right, traders. So this is going to be a lesson on the narrow state. Now, there are three states that the market goes through, and it's constantly going back and forth through these three states. And we're going to learn about all three of these in this set of lessons. We're going to focus on the narrow state today. So it goes through the narrow state, the trend state, and the wide state. And if we go back to our coastline analogy that we learned about earlier, we have our two moving averages, which are the 20-period moving average and the 200-period moving average. And it sets up what we call the deep water, the beach, and the wave, right? And then the surfer was the market. Okay. Well, if we get rid of all of the coastline terminology and we just, that's not what I want to do, and we just look at the 20-period and the 200-period moving average, we'll start to see something here. We see a market moving, or the two moving averages are moving together. Now, the 20-period moving average, what exactly is that? That is the market. Let me bring in the market. Let's hide the 200. Let's focus on the 20. So at any point in the market, and I can choose a point by hitting this replay button, I can just say, well, I'm going to go right to this moment right there. Okay. So right to this moment right here, the market is going to count back 20 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's going to average the price of those 20 bars, and it is going to plot this line right here. See if I can make this bigger for you. It's going to plot that line. And as it goes through one more bar, let's see if I can add another bar. There, one more bar. It is going to replot the line. As we've added a little bit more green here, it's going to move the line up slightly. And then it's going to go through and do that bar by bar by bar. You can see the 20 period is moving up, 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 as the average now has a lot more price action into the total 20 period, or excuse me, the total 20 set of 20 candles. The average has now moved up. So this is why the 20 period moving average line is moving up and down. It's just simply an average looking back 20 periods. So that's the same for the 200 period moving average. 200 period moving average, if we bring that one in, is going to look back 200 candles and plot a line. So when they come together, let's bring this down here. When they come together, that means that over that certain amount of time, they are now sort of stabilizing or calming down a little bit, if you will. There's not a lot of activity going on. And what happens is they'll come together, and this is what we call a narrow state. So let's look at it without the market noise, and let's simply look at narrow state. The narrow state would be when the 20 and the 200 are tracking parallel as best as they can. And if you really, really, really look at this, you can see that this move is not parallel. It looks parallel from here, but it's really quite steep. And then it goes parallel. So this is parallel. This is kind of at an angle. This is parallel. This is getting a little bit of an angle. Now, we don't want to nitpick this too hard. The idea is that these are truly parallel. This is a bit of a wide, and now it's going parallel. But we want in these narrow states to look at when these two moving averages come together and are, I was going to say fairly parallel as possible. We don't want to get our micrometer out and start measuring things, but we do want to keep them parallel. Now, let me go over to the S&P 500, and I will show you a market. This is the daily chart, and I think on the monthly, it's even worse, where these markets are moving. Again, you hit your A button if you can't see your chart. So this market, you can see the market. Let's get rid of the market, actually. That's just noise. You can see that these moving averages, the 200 and the 20 are moving parallel, but they're rising. It's quite interesting. Now, it is important to show they are parallel. So we're gonna learn as we go through here that the narrow state is the parallel state, but the trend state, which is the next one, that is where the market does this. It moves off of the market moves off of the parallel state and it starts to move away from it. So that may be where the parallel state is here. Excuse me, let me undo this here. That makes it easier. So we're parallel here and the market pops off of it. So we're going to get into that, but what the focus of this lesson is that we want to look for and start beginning to identify the narrow state. Why is that important? Because this is step one of our 4-step process. We will be learning about step 1, 2, 3, and 4 of our 4-step trend surfing process in our next module. We are in the building blocks of that right now. But the narrow state is what we call the lineup. It is the place where the surfers sit waiting to catch a power wave. So we want to go through and learn these narrow states. This is the monthly chart on the S&P 500. Let's see. Let's go to Bitcoin and pick the 5-minute chart. I'm going to hit the A button. And you see how that works? Always, you're going to be in and out of this A button all the time. All right. Let's get rid of the market. Let's just focus on narrow state. There's a narrow state right there. And as the market moves away from the 20 moves away from the 200, this is what we would call a wide state as it moves out here. The transition from narrow to wide is the trend state. So we have these 3 states. We have narrow here. We have trend, which is the angle, the 45-degree angle that's moving away from the 200. That's our trend state. And then we have wide. That's our wide state as it comes and goes away, away, away. That's our wide state. Now, what did we call that in our analogy? Let's see. Let's go back to XRP where I'm hiding my analogy. And we called that the narrow was well, I didn't actually have an analogy in there, but let's just add one. Let's add one more. This narrow state is what we call the lineup. The lineup is where the surfers sit. Let's color that something different. Let's color that green. The lineup is where the surfers sit in the narrow state, waiting for the wave, the power wave to kick off. And then they're going to surf this wave. So the lineup is where we're going to catch a wave. And in a more advanced scenario, you could have another lineup up here where you're surfing wide back to narrow. Wide back to narrow. You can make your living doing only narrow to wide and never ever have to go back to narrow. This is a bit more advanced. It certainly can be done. But I just want to get your mind wrapped around, we're going from narrow to wide, and we're now looking in this lesson at the narrow state. So let's hide this, and we'll just stay in XRP. It's easy. Let's go to, let's go over here to the 2-minute chart. Some of you may be wanting to be day traders. I am not a day trader. You're going to find out real quick that doing all of this is, it's not impossible, but you're going to, if you want to do all of this trend surfing and analysis and every candle and everything on a 2-minute chart, it's not impossible by any stretch, but it is something that is going to ask of you far more precise understanding of the rules and the process steps and everything. So it's going to be a little challenging to do it on the 1 or the 2-minute chart right away. I am of the impression that you can make just as much money trading the daily chart all over the course of 3 weeks, that you take your profits over the course of 3 weeks, divide it by how many trading days you did, and you can make as much or more money doing it that way on a much slower pace you can average out and make as much or more money trading a longer term chart than you can fussing around with a day trading scenario. So that's why I don't day trade. I used to day trade quite a bit. I've day traded Forex, futures, options, everything you can think of. And I have settled on a longer term charts. I found there's far more money and far more relaxation in the slower, longer term, multi-day, multi-week charts than there is in the day trading. But some of you may like the action. So let's go to the 2-minute chart and let's bring up the little A button. All right. What is the difference between a narrow state and a cross? Well, a cross is the market crossing through the 200 period moving average, crossing. So this would not be a narrow state. This is a cross. A narrow state is when the markets are together. So here the markets are together. They're not together parallel for very long. This might be more parallel. And if you really wanted to say the market from here to here is relatively parallel, but this would be the only case where it's truly parallel. Let's look at some more here. This market is parallel and breaks out. This would be a cross. So the market probably came down from below, sort of an A, B, C, and this is just a pause before it kept going. So the market really started down here. If we bring in the market started nice, strong push, went sideways, and then so this move here is the tail end. So sometimes you will be going from a narrow state and you will trading the kickoff with sort of an A, B, C, and it'll go. Sometimes you will be trading just the last leg of a 3-leg pattern. So here you have leg, leg, leg. Sometimes you will be kicking off the A, B, C, and it will be way out. So sometimes, you never know what you're going to be given, but that is the narrow state right here. Let's keep going. We're on the 2-minute chart on XRP, which is a crypto. And as you flatten this out a little bit, you can really see that this is a declining narrow state. It's coming together. Then it really came together here. Let's see if we can go. Here's a really good one. This is a narrow state. So you're looking for these narrow states. So this is in Pacific time. This is basically midnight to 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So a couple of things about that. Number one, I would not be trading this. I would be watching this. What am I watching it for? This right here. Let's look at this. I'll bet you money there is a power move somewhere in here that kicked off out of this narrow state. Here is your deep water. Here is your beach. Oops, let's do that again. Here's your deep water. Let's put that in blue. Here is your beach. I think we chose some funny red color for that. Let's choose this color. I think we chose this color down here. That was, I don't know why I chose red, but all right. So that's the beach. Here's your wave. Now, I think previously on the XRP, I was on the, I can't remember. I think it was on the weekly chart, but here's the 2-minute chart. Looks exactly the same, doesn't it? All right. So we're going to do the wave. And this is right here is what we call the lineup. This is step 1 of our process. This is where the surfers sit waiting for a wave. We haven't even seen the market yet, but I'll guarantee you there's going to be some sort of kickoff here that's going to get us into the wave and let us surf until it gives us an exit signal. And this is the beach and we're done. This is where the kids play. We don't surf in this. So now let's look at the possible power wave that could have gotten us into this market. We were sitting in here and on this, I'm out in Las Vegas and this is Pacific time. And let's see, this is midnight to 3, almost 4 in the morning. Some people will be over trading this because they're They're just hyped up on their dopamine. They want to trade, 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 but the reality is there's nothing here. This is waiting for this breakout of the narrow state. Let's bring in the market and see what happened. There you go. There's your large bar power move right there. You had a little, what we call a color change, where the market came down red, boom, broke out. There's your entry right there. And you're in this market. You did not overtrade in the narrow state. You were in the lineup, surfing or waiting for the wave. There was your entry. And you surfed it all the way until it told you that it was done. And we're going to learn about all that in here. But you're going to surf it, and now it's broken through and it's done. And that's the end of it. You're going to set your stop a 1 bar below. Why? Because we trade a bar. The expectation, we're going to win many bars. So you could lose a bar, but the idea is you lose a bar, you win many bars. So you never want to lose more than 1 bar. There will be instances, I'll show you, where you might string 2 or 3 bars together and call that a bar, because we don't want to get stopped out. But in this case, the idea is you lose a bar to gain many bars. Now, I hope you understand. I just found this by looking at narrow states. I did not pre-plan this whatsoever. This is XRP on the 2-minute chart. And this looks exact. I could show you thousands of these. So this is trend surfing. We are in the lineup, ready to surf. We found a power wave, and we moved over here into the wave, or I'm sorry, we surfed the wave, and then we got out at the beach. So the market is moving this direction, and we're then going to move our stop up, and we're going to capture these profits until it gets us out. And that's it. We've made many bars. So this is the concept of trend surfing. We've been focusing on the narrow state today. And the next lesson will be the trend state, the wave itself, as we're moving through this, through this transition zone from narrow to wide. This is what I call the trend state. It's the wave that we're going to be surfing, and that'll be the next lesson. And so let me do one thing. Let me just bring in our marketing code here. And if I put this out as a marketing video, this QR code, if you are interested in picking this lesson up or picking up my course, I teach how to trend surf, how to do this. So this little marketing lesson here, and this is the QR code if you want to join us in our trading community and get access to the course, and then learn how to trend surf these waves. These are absolutely everywhere on any time frame. I could do this all day long on any market, any reasonable sized market that cannot be manipulated by a single player. Well, this will be in everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And we learn how to do this. So if you don't feel like you have gone into this with the confidence that you can find these and trade these, then you need to join the community, get access to the course, and start learning how to do this. And so this is called trend surfing, and this QR code will take you to the community and join the community. So for the traders that are already in this community, thank you for enduring this little marketing section here, but I might put this out on YouTube and see if anybody wants to join the community. So, all right, so this is lesson on narrow state, and we'll be talking about trend state and wide state next. So look forward to seeing you in the community, and take care, everybody.